Panama City Beach.
Cool. I like the beach. Okay. So what qualities do you think make someone an explorer? What does a person have to have, their characteristics to make them an explorer?
Motion, I guess.
Motion, they do have to move. They have to travel. Okay, Diego. They have to be intelligent, so they have to know what they are exploring for. Okay, and why would someone go on an expedition? So an expedition is like the trip that an explorer makes. Why do you think someone would go, Tamara?
To look for something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to try to find something to bring back to home.
That's a good point. Okay, so y'all already have your notes, so if you're missing anything, you can fill everything in because these are the notes that y'all should have. So the first explorer is Christopher Columbus. He was Italian, but he sailed for Spain in 1492, and the other dates, and he explored the West Indies. And like we said, an explorer is going somewhere to find something. So for Christopher Columbus, he was going to find a new route to India. He had no maps, and he claimed the West Indies for Spain. So that was something kind of like that he brought back to Spain. Do y'all need time to copy it down? That's okay. Some people might not have all their notes if they missed it.
And they can copy some notes later too.
So we're going to move on to the next. You can look at the person beside you if you want to look at their notes. Okay, so the next explorer is John Cabot. He was also Italian, but he sailed for England. In 1497, he explored Canada, and the thing that he wanted to find was a water passage to Asia. There were no maps for him either, and he found a good fishing area around Canada. The next explorer is Vasco Núñez Balboa. He came from Spain. Make sure you're paying attention because we're going to do a compare and contrast later and see how these explorers are similar and how they're different. So he came from Spain in 1513. He explored Central America. He was trying to find a new route to Asia. He had to go through the mountains and the jungles of Panama, and then there was a short route to the Pacific Ocean through the Panama Canal. Okay, the next explorer is Juan Ponce de Leon. He also came from Spain, so that's a similarity. He came in 1513 and he explored the United States. He came to Florida. He was looking to find gold, and he never found what he was looking for, and his colony failed. He fought with the Native Americans and died. He claimed Florida, and he was the first person to reach the United States area. The next explorer is Jacques Cartier. He came from France, so that's a new place that he came from. In 1534, he explored St. Lawrence River in Canada, and his goal with exploring was to find a new route to Asia to find gold. There was no route in the cold weather, and his crew got sick, and he claimed land in Canada. Henry Hudson, he was English, but he sailed for the Netherlands. That's another place that the explorers came from. He came in 1609, and he explored the Hudson River and the Hudson Bay area. He thought the bay would lead to the Pacific Ocean, and also he claimed places around the Hudson Bay, which was named after him. Okay, so these are the three countries that these explorers all came from. Here's Spain right here, there's France, and the Netherlands. So that's something that some of the explorers are going to have in common because some of them came from Spain, some came from France, and some came from the Netherlands. And they came all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to explore over here. So these are all of the explorers in the land that they explored. So you've got Christopher Columbus down here, Juan Ponce de Leon in what is now Florida, and then Henry Hudson up in like the Hudson Bay, which is named after him. Okay, so what we're going to ask ourselves is how these explorers are alike or different and what their impact was. Okay, so can I have a volunteer to give me one explorer? Mason. Can you give me an explorer that we're going to compare and contrast?
Christopher Columbus.
You know Christopher Columbus? Okay, I need one more explorer.
Henry Hudson.
Henry
No.
Hudson. Okay, we'll do him in a different color. Okay, so with comparing and contrasting, I want y'all to look at your notes and give me information that is similar between Henry Hudson and Christopher Columbus. So in the middle, we're going to have the information that is the same about them. So I guess an idea of something that would be the same about them is they're both explorers. So we should go ahead and write that one down.
Yeah.
So we'll use purple for the same. So they're both explorers. And then over here, we're going to put information that is specific only to Christopher Columbus. And then over here, we're going to put information about Henry Hudson. So can someone give me, let's start off with something about Christopher Columbus that doesn't have anything to do with Henry Hudson.
Christopher Columbus, he explored Florida.
He explored. Not Christopher Columbus. Where did he explore?
Cuba. Around he explored islands between North and South America.
He did explore like the Cuba area. It's called the West Indies. Did you have that down in your notebook?
We didn't
Okay.
call it that this time, but
Do what?
we didn't call it that this time, but
Okay.
we ended up saying
What did
more
y'all
just like
call
the island areas, like
Okay.
Cuba and all. Yeah,
So we'll put
we just
like,
put like islands in the Caribbean.
we'll write down islands, and then we'll put Cuba in parentheses. Okay. Can someone give me something about Henry Hudson that is specific to him that doesn't have anything to do with Christopher Columbus?
He explored Hudson River and Hudson Bay.
And we'll put and Bay. Okay. Can anyone think of any other similarity between the two? What do they have in common? Maybe like why they were exploring?
They both tried to look for something.
They both were looking for land. They both were
What was
looking
that?
for land.
Looking for land. That's a good idea. So they were looking for land. Does everyone agree with that? Sorry, my handwriting's kind of messy. Okay, so what is another fact that we know about Christopher Columbus that doesn't have anything to do with Henry Hudson?
He was Italian, but sailed for Spain.
So we'll just go ahead and say that he sailed for Spain, since that's something really important where he came from. Sailed from Spain. So whatever he was searching for Spain.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, one more fact about Henry Hudson that doesn't have anything to do with Christopher Columbus.
He was looking for the Northwest Passage.
Looking for the Northwest Passage.
Who said that? I don't know all one. What about
Okay, and is there one more thing that y'all have that they have in common?
No maps.
They didn't have maps. Good job.
No, Henry Hudson had maps. No, they didn't. It says. They did have maps. Yeah, they did. They did have maps. It doesn't say
So,
didn't have no maps, but
okay, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna create a timeline in groups of 4. So most of y'all are gonna go back to like your seats and you're gonna work with the 4 people that are in your row. So has anyone ever created a timeline before?
no.
Okay. Okay, what are examples of things that y'all have made timelines of?
Someone's biography.
Yeah, someone's biography, so like the timeline in their life. Diego? How a plant grows? Cool. Okay, So a timeline is when you order events chronologically. So what chronologically means is like you order it in like the order of events, so the beginning to the end. And with our timeline, we're going to use dates. So the dates that the explorers explored. Okay, so here's an example of a timeline for a school day. So the first thing that you do is on the far left, this is times, but we're going to use like the years. But on here at 7 a.m., the first thing you do is you wake up, and then we go to 9 a.m., you have playtime, then you have lunch at noon, school, and then you come home around 3 p.m. So you see how the timeline works, that on the far left is the very first thing, and then on the far right is the very last thing.
And 9 p.m.
So I'll show y'all how we're going to do your timelines. Excuse me. Okay, so the timelines that y'all are doing in your groups look a little bit like this. And you have a dash up here, dash down here, and we have 6 explorers. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so what you're going to do is your group is going to have a picture of your explorer. And then you're going to have the name. And then what else? What else do you think? If we're doing a timeline, what is something that we need? So you're going to have your year. So an example of that would be Christopher Columbus was 1492. Okay, so you have your name, your year, and your picture, and you're going to connect all of those together for each explorer. And if you don't know what they look like, they're back on the board over there. And then you're also going to look at your notes to find like the year that they explored. Don't glue them down until you have all of them matched up, because you might find that you have one of the dates incorrect when you're working later. So once you have all of them in order by year, you're going to glue them down. And then the very last step is you're going to look at your notes that you already have, and y'all can write little blurbs also with the explorers about where they're from, where they're going, and what they were looking for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mason? Yes.
Dangy.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Do y'all understand the timeline and how you're going to order it from the earliest date to the latest date? And y'all know that the smaller numbers, so if we have like the 1400s over here, and then we have like the 1600s over here, you know that the earliest date is going to be the smallest number. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Mason. So you have the picture, and these are things that I printed out for y'all. So you have the picture, the name of the explorer, the year, and then this is stuff that y'all are gonna write down with like a marker by yourself, and you can write down with your group the notes that you have in there, like where they came from, where they're going, and what they were looking for.
I thought we were doing these by ourselves.
No, you're gonna work in groups of 4.
Okay, now this is going to be much easier.
Yep. Okay.
Are we going to
So-
get a bit? There's going to be 6.
Yep, I have big papers for y'all. So if y'all sit in the front row, you can go back to your seat.
My group is.
Y'all sit in the front to your rows of desks. Go ahead and go back to your seat. Okay, if you sit in the middle 2 rows, go ahead and go back to your seat.
I'm setting up the next.
And then if you sit in the last 2 rows, go ahead and head back to